Good morning and welcome back to Eldercare's weekly webinar series. I am Adrienne Ostras. I'm the digital marketing director here, and we're doing things a little bit different this morning. We have a special guest in the studio with us. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Good morning, Robert Sterling.
He is also with Eldercare, so he's actually works in the same building as us, but he's normally on the phone helping agents write policies. But luckily I got him for this 30 minutes. So we're going to make the most of it in your time.
30 minutes. I was thinking an hour, but okay.
We try to do it in 30 minutes, but then we open it for questions for everybody. So everyone, if you're new to the training, here's how it goes. We want this to be a conversation. We want you to leave this training knowing what you're selling to your potential clients. So please find the Q&A box. I think that's what it's called on the Zoom. Tell us good morning. Tell us you can hear us, you can see us. Tell us if you're writing Med Supps. Tell us if you've never wrote one. Let us know who we are talking to. And then on the Facebook Live, just leave us a comment. Let us know. Jay says hello. All right. That means everything should be working smoothly.
All right. So, am I good to go?
We are good to go.
So, start briefly. I thought I had an hour, but I'll condense it into 30 minutes. And that means my introduction to myself will be a little bit shorter than normal. Again, my name is Robert Sterling. I'm the Director of Career Services here at Eldercare, meaning we have 55, 60 captive LOA agents working directly with Eldercare. Okay. Obviously, the training is hello and welcome how to sell Med Supps, Medicare Supplement, Medigap, secondary insurance. I asked Adrienne in the beginning who my audience was. Are these newly licensed agents, newly appointed agents with Med Supp? And she said it was a mix of agents. Some have been around a while, some are fairly new. This is a fairly basic training on Medicare Supplement and how to sell. However, you're never too old to go back to the basics. When I say, I've got agents that have been with us longer than I have. I've been selling Medicare Supplement insurance since 2012, and I've got some that started with this company back in 1982. I've got some that started last month.
Right.
And
since you said that, I want to put the plug in. Like that's how Eldercare started.
Correct. Med Supp.
Medicare Supplements. So over 40 years, Eldercare knows Medicare Supplements.
Yeah, we were somewhat late to the game in the Medicare Advantage market by not even offering it until 2016. So you can imagine when I started in 2012, the only Medicare product I offered was Medicare Supplement. So a lot of my demonstration was down talking or bad mouthing MA. Look, I didn't have it. All I had was Med Supp. I was trying to get everybody on a Med Supp and away from a Medicare Advantage. Now, that landscape, as you all know, anybody that's been in the business long enough, has changed drastically.
Right.
Okay. So last year we were talking 52% Medicare Supplement, 48% Medicare Advantage. This year it's more lopsided, 52% Medicare Advantage, 48% Medicare Supplement. They anticipate in 2025 that will turn into 60% of the people will have Medicare Advantage, 40% will have Medicare Supplement. So with that being said, especially
how their book of business should be as well, right?
Like it should be evenly spread. Yeah. I think
shouldn't just be one.
Oh, without a doubt. And in my opinion, and let me preface this by saying different areas call for different products, a different demographic calls for a different product. So when I say Medicare Supplement insurance coupled with Medicare A and B is the best health insurance out there, it truly is. Okay. On the surface, when you look at it, forget about TRICARE, Medicaid, stuff like that, where people can go where they want and get 100% coverage. If you're on Medicare A and B, a Medicare Supplement is better than any insurance that they've even had as a group insurance with their work or whatever. Nobody has insurance that you pay a monthly premium and you have an opportunity to only have a $240 deductible. Okay, I've got fantastic insurance through my group at work.
Yes, we do.
And I have, almost am paying monthly what the supplement costs. I've got a $3,000 deductible, which in years past it had been $5,000, and I've got a $6,000 max out of pocket. And again, fantastic insurance.
Yeah.
However, if I had the opportunity to have Medicare A and B and a supplement, I'd jump on it tomorrow. You know, I just turned 50, but it's such a good idea. You know, you talk to people turning 65 and it's, oh man, I bet you're so happy that, you know, you're turning 65. No, I'm older, blah, blah, blah. But you're about to be eligible for the best insurance the country has to offer. Okay. Medicare supplement insurance. Now, again, is it the best for everybody? Absolutely not, because there are people on Medicaid, you know, that we can't do a supplement for. You have people that are on TRICARE for life that can still have the freedom to go to any doctor, any hospital, and they're 100% covered. But for the majority of Americans joining A and B, a Medicare supplement Plan G is by far the best insurance that the country has to offer. Okay.
Right. What we have our family on.
That's absolutely correct. My mom, in fact.
My grandmother. Yes.
So
yes.
It is what I would recommend, and it is what my goal would be no matter what when I'm talking. So I can imagine, especially if there's some seasoned agents in this group, the number one question is, how do you get Medicare supplement leads? Okay. If you have any experience lately in the Medicare field, if you've done direct mail, any type of lead source, you're primarily going to be talking to people that have Medicare Advantage. Okay. If I do a direct mailer and it says, do you have a Medicare supplement? Are you paying over $150 a month? Only call me, or only send this back if you have a Medicare supplement. Still 90% of the return that you get are going to be people on Medicare Advantage. Okay. So what we like to target, okay, in order, if I'm a new agent, if I'm setting out, I want to build my block with Medicare supplement insurance, my target's going to be turning 65.
Yeah.
Okay. People turning 65, they also do get the largest return on mail, where we used to see a 2% general mail return. In general, we're real happy to get a 1% return, where turning 65 mail still is in between 1.5 and 2% return. So the biggest mail return you'll get if you're doing direct mail marketing is going to be on a turning 65-year-old.
Right. And we have a lot of different vendors that we use. We even offer free turning 65 data.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of ways that Eldercare helps you use this target market for those turning 65. So if you need assistance with that, please contact us.
Absolutely.
We want to help you get in front of as many people turning 65 as possible.
And the benefit of a turning 65, obviously, in this market, if I sell somebody turning 65 or I sell somebody at 75 years old, statistics say I'm going to get a renewal for 10 more years on somebody turning 65 than 75. So you have somebody that you're able to help as they're joining Medicare. If you're the first person to help them and you do a good job, they'll tend to stay with you and not move later down the road. And again, for your benefit, you'll be getting the renewals at a longer time, because again, a 65-year-old is going to pay longer than a 75-year-old statistically.
Right.
So,
and there's a statistic out there, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is people who are on a Medicare supplement are happier and stay with it longer.
Again, different circumstances for different demographics, but a Medicare supplement, there are so many benefits, in my opinion, to a Medicare supplement versus an MA, that if I'm talking to somebody turning 65, and we'll go over this in a minute, my goal is a Medicare supplement. Okay. So I'm going to identify as quickly as I can, are they on Medicaid? Do they have TRICARE? You know, I want to make sure that I can target the Medicare supplement with them for various different reasons. Number one, you know, look, we're big on compliance, but compliance and sales don't necessarily jive together. I think compliance people don't have sales in mind when they're making the rules. Salespeople don't have the compliance in mind when they're making scripts or whatnot. But I like the fact that I don't have to do a scope for a Medicare supplement. I like the fact that I don't have to wait 48 hours. And I can actually do a sales process with the Medicare supplement, where if I'm going MA, fine and dandy, but I basically just have to say what CMS allows me to say.
Right.
Okay. And on a Medicare supplement,
it's a little bit different.
Easier to enroll, in my opinion. I'm sure if anybody's done enrollments on both, you'll find that a Medicare supplement is easy to enroll. And we're big on service here at Eldercare after the sale. Okay, again, we want to keep these clients. That's the name of the game. We want to prevent them from doing business with bad actors, that might put them on an MA telling them it's exactly the same as their supplement. And now you're out of the mix. We want to protect our clients from that. And a supplement generally requires less service. Okay. You'll find that if you have an equal book of Medicare Advantage customers and Medicare Supplement customers, any service work you're doing is primarily going to be with those Medicare Advantage holders, because there's always questions on co-pays. There's questions on what doctors they can go to.
They get bills.
They get bills. With a
Right.
Medicare supplement, there's rarely any service, other than they accidentally got a bill. If any service that historically I've had to do is because I made a mistake. I put them on a supplement and maybe didn't help them cancel out their other insurance, so they were double billed a couple times. If they get a bill, oh, Ms. Jones, it's probably a mistake. I'll look into it, but you can disregard that. And generally it is a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's cut and dry. It's the reason my mother, who was the most frugal person all of her life, to this day will change her satellite or cable company or phone company every 3 months to save $2 or $3. When she came to my house turning 65, all I had was Medicare Advantage books to present to her. And I was like, okay, so this one, you have this. She's like,
because you thought she wanted to
oh,
not
for sure.
spend
Yeah,
money.
not spend anything on a premium. I knew for a fact she wasn't going to spend. In Arkansas at the time, they were $132 for a Plan F. And I knew she wasn't going to do that. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. And then, after my whole hour and a half, 2-hour presentation on the different MAs, she says, well, what's the one where I just pay monthly and don't have to worry about anything? I was like, yeah, Mom, that's $132. That's the one I want.
Yep.
Okay. So
yep, that's the one I want too.
100%. And she, to this day, she still calls me. She'll call me next week. Hey, John at Pickleball, he gets $180 every quarter with Aetna. How do I get that? Hey, Mom, remember those Medicare Advantage ones you talked to, the network of doctors, copay? No, I don't want it, or, hey, I saw this commercial where, I can get grocery card, help paying gas bill or whatever. And then as soon as I explain it to her, nope, I want to stay where I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
super easy. Again, the best insurance. Service is minimal on the tail end. I mean, it's really any service I do, I'm initiating with a Medicare supplement client, which is calling them quarterly, definitely calling them prior to AEP, during AEP, making sure nobody tried steering them to an MA. I want to keep them on a Medicare supplement. And I think the better job I do in the beginning selling the Medicare supplement, the easier that service becomes on the tail end. Okay. So for example, when my mom calls me, hey, John has $400 a quarter for over the counter. Hey, Mom, remember that's that other plan I told you about. Yep. I don't want that. Okay. So I don't have to do a whole repitch. I don't have to pitch an MA to her and then help her decide.
Right. Which we'll kind of get into that when we talk about like how you present it.
Yep.
So they know their target market is turning 65-year-olds.
Correct.
They know to focus on Medicare supplements in the beginning, right? That's what you're saying.
I would 100%. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what do you do right before you're on the phone with them? How do you prepare?
So I 100% want to be prepared. When I talk to a Medicare supplement, whether it be on the phone or whether it be in person, I'm a one shot, one kill type of agent. I don't want to have a bunch of follow-up appointments with anybody. If someone calls me on the phone, hey, I'm turning 65, I don't know where to begin, I immediately grab all my tools, and my plan is to have an application secured at the end of that phone call.
Right.
If they call me and want to set up an appointment to come to the office, sure, I'm available Tuesday at 3. If you give me 30, 45 minutes right now, I can do it over the phone. You don't even have to come to my office.
Right.
Okay. So there's several different ways to do that. But if somebody's turning 65,
you're ready to
slightly
write
inquiring, I'm getting prepared. And what is my preparation? I'm going to use either the Medicare handbook or the choosing a Medigap policy. Okay. Because what this will do is back up anything I'm using in my presentation, and it's from Medicare. It's from CMS.
So it's compliant.
So it's immediately they trust it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have what I call a generic app, okay, which is basically an app that I devised that has everything I'm going to need on any carrier website for a Medicare supplement.
Right.
Okay, I know we put up here, it looks like ACE, a sample of an ACE Medicare
Okay.
supplement.
Yeah, I put the sample. I think that one's Cigna, but then I also put on there, we call those intake forms
Okay.
normally. So we have multiple intake forms as well that have the similar questions
Okay.
from an application.
And then I've got a generic script, which I'm not a fan of. Okay. Being in this business, it's about building relationships. And I didn't read a script when I formed my most successful relationship with my wife. I didn't use a script. I didn't read to her, hey, would you like to go out with me on Friday? We'll have a great time. It'll be the movies and
Right.
maybe do something afterwards. No, I had a conversation with her.
Mhm.
Okay. And from there, we built a relationship. And it's the same in this space. The
Yeah.
more, look, these people are starving to talk to somebody that cares, to talk to somebody that will listen. Because as they're turning 65, their mailbox is full,
Mhm.
okay? Their phone is ringing off the hook with people trying to get them to do whatever it is, okay?
Mhm.
So somebody that really cares and wants to put them in the best position possible as they go on this Medicare journey, it's important and it's
Mhm.
valuable to them, and they're hungry for that because it's not happening. Okay, you might be the only one that they feel comfortable even speaking with, so take your time, build the
Yeah.
relationship, and be prepared to help them by the end of your call. Okay, again, if you're
And
doing
then
this
you
face
have
to
your
face,
coding tool open too, right?
100% have to have the quoting tool, because that's going to be the most important factor in making a decision on a Medicare supplement.
Right.
Okay, I tell people, as long as you get the same plan letter, it can be Blue Cross, Mutual of Omaha, Aetna. If Family Dollar offered a plan G and it's the lowest, go ahead and sign up with them, because they're all standardized to be exactly the same as told in the CMS handbook, which we'll get to in a minute. So
All right. So you have them on the
I
phone.
have a turning 65. Hey, Robert, I'm turning 65 in, what is this month? August. I'm turning 65 in February. Okay. I'm starting to get stuff in the mail. Sally Sue told me you did her insurance. She told me to give you a call. Hey, that's fantastic, Adrian. I'm so glad you called. Let me explain to you what my job is here.
Okay.
I work for Eldercare Insurance Services. I'm licensed and appointed with all of the companies you can think of. Okay. If I'm not, I can get appointed with them. I'm just going to give her a sense of security with me, and that I know what I'm talking about. I'm the professional. I'm going to steer you in the right direction. And again, the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm trying to secure an application. So I'll have my application out while I'm talking to her.
Mhm.
Okay. And my goal psychologically should be from point A to signed application, which is Z.
Mhm.
And during my conversation, I'm jotting all this down, okay, on my application. So I'm explaining who I am. I've been doing this for X amount of years. My goal is simple,
Mhm.
okay? It's to make sure you're in the right position when you turn 65 in February and you're all set up, good to go, and don't have to do anything else, okay?
Okay, so you've explained who you are, and then you told the goal, which was
Mhm.
to make sure that they're covered with
Absolutely.
insurance.
Yep. And just kind of giving some subliminals in there. And then I'm going to ask, hey, so what do you exactly know about Medicare? Okay. Some of them know a lot. Some of them have read a little bit. Some of them don't know anything. Some of them, their husband is on this. And obviously,
Mhm.
hey, my husband's on this plan G. That's what I want. Forget everything I'm saying in this presentation. Just write them on the plan G. If they request the company, I might say, hey, this one's a little bit lower. I can probably also try and get your husband on it. But she knows what her husband has. She loves it. Not arguing. Let's go.
Right.
I'll
No,
get you set up.
I just wrote that little golden nugget down. That's a great question.
Yeah. What
to
do you
ask.
know about
What do you
Medicare?
know about Medicare?
Regardless if they know a lot or they know a little, what I'm about to tell them is going to be
Mhm.
valuable. And it's important, guys. I can't stress this enough, is to not get caught up in a lot of details.
Mhm.
Okay. So the more you can simplify this, the better off you're going to be when it comes to get a signature in the application. You don't want them to have a lot of questions at the end that aren't answered. You don't want them to have a lot of reason to think about anything. By
Right.
the end of it, it's kind of a, well, what do you suggest I do? You know, if you've been in any type of sales, you know, some of the best things that you can hear is, hey, you tell me, you're my agent. You know, when I first started here at Eldercare, before I started doing Medicare, I was calling all of our Medicare clients and selling them final expense. And it was phenomenal to, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm calling for Tom Aubrey. He handles your Medicare. He wanted me to check with you to check on your life insurance. What exactly do you have? You know, when we go through the whole thing. And by the end of the call, the lady was saying, if Tom says I need it, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the level of trust you're looking for. Come AEP, when they get a letter in the mail that says zero premium insurance,
Right.
$200 over the counter benefit, we'll pay your rent or whatever. You want them to call you, hey, I got this in the mail. What exactly does this mean? Okay,
Yeah.
that's the relationship we should have.
And you should tell them that.
I love it when my agents call or my clients call asking me about their auto insurance. They just look at me as an insurance professional
Right.
enough that they're calling me with everything. I want them to call
You
me
know
with every
things. They
question,
trust
every
you.
problem, you
Mhm.
name it. I want them calling me. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I want to simplify this. Again, I don't have any reason to know how many pints of blood some a Plan G is going to cover. I don't need them to know any specific details. If, you know, if I can look it up on Google, I'm not interested in memorizing it or using it in my presentation. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I know this thing says 2 options, but I always tell my clients they have 3 options. Okay.
Okay.
And keep in mind, Adrian, I'm going to go off script because I don't like them. Again, it's not a relationship. It is a good guide. If you're just getting started, to read it and get yourself familiar with it,
Right.
would be good. But again, I'm trying to build a relationship with these people. My end goal is to secure an application at the end. So I'm not going to say that you have 2 options. I'm going to say, okay, so you're going to turn 65 in February. Assuming they've worked enough credits, they're going to qualify for A and B. I'm going to tell them they have 3 options. Okay. Your first option is to go at this Medicare A and B only. Okay.
Right.
Do I recommend it? Absolutely not, but it is an option. By all means, you can take Medicare Part A, Part B, and go the rest of your life with just those. However, if you do that, I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. The advantage of only going to Medicare A and B is you have the freedom to go to any doctor, any hospital you want that accepts Medicare in the United States. Okay, now this is a little bit of foreshadowing of where I'm going to go later. Okay,
Right.
because I'm going Medicare Supplement is my goal. I want them to know A and B allows them to go to any doctor, any hospital that accepts Medicare in the United States. Because option 2 or option 3 later on that I'm going to explain won't allow them to do that.
Right.
Okay. So, and I'm going to tell you guys in advance, my goal during a Med Supp presentation is I'm going to explain Medicare only, what it will look like for them, Medicare A and B and a supplement and a Part D, what it'll look like for them. And then if necessary, I'm going to explain Part C or Medicare Advantage plans. But my goal is by the end of my Medicare supplement presentation, they tell me, you know what, I don't even want to hear about the other one. Okay, that is picture perfect to me, but they're going to hear about the other one, but just enough to know the difference of the 2 and that the Med Supp is better. Okay, that's my goal. Now, again, I can't stress this enough. I will not down talk a Medicare Advantage plan so much that they'll go to another agent and get one if they end up not being a supplement. Okay, if they choose or if they decide they want Medicare Advantage, I want it to be with me. So I'm not down talking them in the least. I'm just making Medigap, Medicare Supplement insurance, such a better option for them. Okay.
Right. And so I loved how you said this before the meeting. When you're using these books to stay true to the course, if you do that, it is a truly secured application. It's not just an application, it's you secured.
Correct. There's no doubt when someone calls them and talks about Medicare, nope, I've got a guy, he's my guy. Let me call him and check on it.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I
this
want.
screenshot is directly from the Choosing a Medigap book. So He is staying true to course.
All right, so I'm running out of time though. So I'm gonna really speed it up and I
And if
guess
we
we
go
can do
over-
another one.
If we go over, it's okay. I'll pay attention to who's all on. If everyone is still on, we'll keep going.
Oh, Terry Bartholomew, how are you? We can share this form with you. I just happened to glance over there and see that. Hey, Terry. Anyway, so I'm saying, hey, you can go at this alone. A, B, drug plan, no drug plan, whatever. These are your choices. However, in the event that you have to go to the hospital, you're going to be out the Part A deductible. Okay. And keep in mind, these people are turning 65. Maybe they've used group insurance. Maybe they haven't. They may not even know what a deductible is. Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to pay $1,600 when you get hospitalized, because I've never seen a hospital bill less than that anyway. But you're going to have to pay $1,600 before your insurance kicks in. And then Medicare is going to start. It's going to pay 80% of your hospital bill. You are going to be responsible for the other 20. Okay. Now, I'll always throw in very large numbers, just so in their mind, subliminally, they're thinking, oh, I can't afford that. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, I've got hospitalization experience recently. Mine was 200 and some $1,000. So you're looking at $40,000 your part if you're in a situation like me. Rarely have I seen a legitimate hospital stay and admittance be less than 100,000. So that can rack up. And Ms. Jones, that Part A deductible is per benefit period. That's not an annual deductible. So there's a chance that you pay that deductible 3 or 4 times. Now, you'd have to be real unfortunate, going in the hospital at different times throughout the year. However, it's a possibility you could pay that deductible 3 or 4 times in one calendar year and still have the 20%. Okay, so immediately, even at this point, they don't want to go at this with just Medicare A and B, without a doubt.
Right.
They're in their mind, okay, I'm going to need to have something. Hopefully he's about to tell me about something that's going to cover that.
Or they know right away, like it doesn't cover everything.
Correct. Hey, and again, if you go this only route, Part B, which is doctors, not so bad. It's only a $240 deductible this year, and it is annual. Now, you might only have like you're putting here, $2,000 bill, and your 20% is $400. Still, most of the people I deal with are on a fixed income. Most of those people are Social Security income only. They can't handle an additional $400, even putting it on payments. So you have that option. Again, rarely does anybody do it.
But
People have done it.
Like Deb's research has thrown out some numbers.
Yeah.
There are a small percentage
People do it
that are on original Medicare only.
And then I'll even tell them, people that do this are the ones that want to have the freedom to go to any doctor, any hospital they have. They don't want to be restricted to networks. They just want to make sure they can be seen by whoever the best doctors, wherever that might be.
Right.
Okay. Again, pumping up what I'm getting ready to go to. I said, now the next option you can do is you can keep your original Medicare, Part A and B, where you have the freedom to go to any doctor, any hospital that Medicare accepts. And you couple that with what's called a Medicare Supplement. I'll say a few different names to them just because if they've been in their handbook, they've talked to their neighbor. I'm going to call it what I've heard it called. I'm going to say you can get Medicare A and B, and you may have heard of this, a Medicare Supplement or Medigap. Some people call it their secondary insurance because it is truly secondary to Medicare A and B. Okay. Now, with a plan like this, you can pay a monthly premium and have every bit of the 20% covered. The only part that won't be covered is the $240 annual deductible. It will cover you any doctor, any hospital in the country. That's important to a lot of people. However, the supplement is going to pay the Part A deductible, no matter how many times you get hospitalized throughout the year, and they're going to pick up the remaining 20%. If you go to the doctor, once you've paid $240, you're covered 100% at the doctor's for Medicare covered procedures or diagnostics, whatever. So you can see super easy on this one. And I'll even say, this is what most people do. Okay. Most of the people I talk to, this is the route they end up going because freedom to go to any doctor, any hospital, no questions on bills. I mean, the biggest question is if this is going towards your $240 deductible. And once that's met, there are no more questions. The main thing, and it's important to people in this age group, is they do have the freedom to go to any doctor, hospital they want. I'll even throw in something along the lines of, and you're more flexible with your care. It's more between your doctor and you on your healthcare decisions. And I'll use an example of, if I wake up one morning and I see a spot on my arm and it's worrisome, possible cancer, I go straight to the dermatologist with my Medicare A and B and my supplement, and they set me an appointment, see me, treat me, whatever. Where if I have the other type of plan that I'm about to get to, I have to go to my primary care doctor. They're going to have to refer me to a specialist in network. And then possibly it's not so easy, just so easy as freezing it off. Possibly they want me to take a drug for 4 months before they'll even approve getting it frozen off. And just use examples that I've run into in the past, that again, doesn't make an MA bad. It just makes a Medicare supplement more desirable. Okay. I really don't touch on this too much. Okay. I'll show it to them if they have it. Obviously, they'll get it if they sign up. But what I'm going to tell them is on the Medicare supplements, there are several different types of plans. They range in letters A through N. Okay. The only two that I'm interested in presenting to you are a plan G and a plan N. Okay. Anything other than that, we, might consider, but I don't think I have any policy. All my policies are either F, G, or N. I've done some underage A's, but if they're eligible for an F, I'm trying to go F. But G or N is it. So I'm going to explain to them. You have basically two different options with me on a Medicare supplement. Okay. Number one is you can get a plan G. Okay. It's going to cover everything that Medicare doesn't cover. That's Medicare approved. It's going to cover the Part A deductible. The only thing it doesn't cover is the Part B deductible in 2024 is $240. Okay.
Yes.
There's another plan, one plan lower, and I'm telling you, hey, that's the best one you can get right now.
Plan G.
By far, plan G, best plan you can put yourself on. The next one down is a plan N, like November. It's identical to that. Okay. You're responsible for the Part B deductible. However, once that deductible is met, you're going to have up to a $20 copay at the doctor, up to a $50 copay at the ER. However, that $50 copay will be waived if you get admitted. And I'll throw in something that is somewhat humorous, whatever, just an example. So what I mean by that is if you go to the hospital with a broken fingernail and they put a Band-Aid on it and dismiss you, you're going to have a $50 copay. If you go there, broken fingernail, however it's gangrene, you have to have your thumb amputated, they're going to waive the $50 copay. Okay, so if you get admitted, $50 copay is waived. And I say up to because a lot of times it's also up to the doctor. I have several people on a plan N that they don't get any copays.
Right.
Some of them are 10, some of them are 15, but this policy will protect you that it will not be over a $20 copay.
Right.
Okay. And then I might get into their health at this stage.
But you've already let them know like the G is going to be more in premium versus the N.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No, and this is where I'm gonna get into their health. So, Miss Jones, let me ask you, how is your health? Do you maybe go once a year for a annual checkup, or are you seeing a specialist once a month, twice a month? And you can kind of do a little math. Okay, so let's say a plan G is $100 more than a plan N.
Right.
That's basically 5 copays. Okay. So Ms. Jones, hey, really a plan G is going to be the most convenient. If you're just looking for the easiest cut and dry plan, we're going to put you with the plan G. You just pay the monthly premium. All you have is a $240 deductible. If you're a little bit budget conscious, and want to spend a little bit less monthly, we can do a plan N, but let's see how many copays you might be getting over the course of a year. Are you going to a specialist once a month, let's say?
Right.
So there's $1,200, or I'm sorry, $200 you're going to be spending over the course of a year in copays. Yeah. So then you kind of figure, okay, wait a minute, they're saving $100 a month. Oh yeah, look, this plan in, you're going to save $1,200 monthly. If you're going once a month, you're only going to be out a couple $100 here, $240 in copays. I think my math is right. 20 times 12. 240. So it looks like you're better off going with the N. Again, from a service aspect, from an ease of the client's perspective, I'm still going to want to go G. Okay, so I recommend all my clients get the G, is what I'm telling them. And I can show them, it goes through all this. Again, Part A deductible, Part B deductible, excess charges, foreign travel emergency, not spending a lot of time on any of that stuff because their main concern is health insurance. And in their mind, their main concern is going to the doctors, going to the specialist, or being hospitalized. Okay. So again, Ms. Jones, I'm going to tell you, like I told you before, I'm going to tell you the good side and the bad side of every plan. The good side of this plan, any doctor, any hospital in the country, whether it be Maine, Southern California, Washington State, tip of Florida, Alaska, Hawaii, walk in, no questions asked, good to go, $240 deductible. The only downside to a plan like this is it does have a monthly premium. Okay. Now, most of these people have already been paying a monthly premium, even if it's group insurance, if it's the ACA care. And oftentimes this premium is lower than what they've currently been paying. Okay. So it's not that big of a deal to them to be paying a monthly payment. Okay. Now, your third option, okay, and again, I hope I've done a good enough job, and obviously this isn't my full presentation. I'm constricted by, I couldn't do a full presentation in 30 minutes with anybody, but you can see the key points I hit during the script. But if I've done a good job during that presentation and I have them involved, they don't even want to hear about this, okay? But I tell them, hey, your third option is what's called Medicare Advantage, okay? These plans, I'll tell them, hey, it's the only type of plan that someone on Medicaid can get. Okay. That's the truth. And it almost puts a negative connotation onto that, where in the back of their mind, well, I'm not on Medicaid. I don't need one of these. But I'm not telling them the only way to get it is on Medicaid. I'm telling them, most people on Medicaid get a plan like this because they will get a few additional benefits. Now, on a plan like a Medicare Advantage plan, it's a little bit different. The plus side to an Advantage plan is you don't have a monthly premium. Okay, you're not going to have to pay that $100, $120, $130 per month. However, Medicare Part A and B is no longer paying your claims. Okay, so I can't say it replaces your Medicare, but I'll go to this handbook right here, and this is where it's valuable. During my presentation, I've shown them a couple things. All Medigap policies are standardized. This means policies with the same letter offer the same basic benefits, no matter where you live or what insurance company you have the policy from. That's important when I'm going to discuss which company we're going to go with. I'm going to go to page 13. The premium amount is the only difference between policies with the same plan letter sold by different companies. There can be big differences in the premiums that different insurance companies charge for the same coverage. Now, what's going to help me secure this today? What happens if I don't buy a Medigap policy when I'm first eligible? I love that. Because they're going to say, hey, my birthday's not till February. Why don't I just wait till then? Well, hold on. Right here in the Medicare handbook, what happens if I don't buy a Medigap policy when I'm first eligible? You may have to pay more for a policy. Okay. And what that means is, if I'm signing somebody up in February right now, which I can with most carriers, will allow you 6 months or 180 days prior to their Part B effective date, they can enroll in a Medicare supplement. Whatever that rate is right now, August of 2024, they are going to be locked into that rate from their effective date, February 2025 until February 2026. Okay. So what that means, you may have to pay more for a policy, and I don't necessarily explain that to them, but I will say, hey, you're going to get locked into what the August 2024 rate is, even though you're not starting to February. So that kind of encourages them, oh yeah, I need to go ahead and get this done now. Whereas if they waited until January to do this, whatever company I'm going with, ACE, Aetna, Humana, they might have a rate increase between now and then. And that's the rate that they're going to get if they wait till January. So that's what that means. Fewer policy options may be available to you. There's no guarantee that an insurance company will sell you a Medigap policy if you don't meet their medical underwriting requirements. So again, I don't go into detail on that because obviously they have 6 months after they turn 65 where
but you mentioned it.
The medical underwriting requirements won't apply. But I do mention it to them. So, and there was one other thing in here where we talk about
Medicare
the
Advantage.
Medicare Advantage. And it right here, watch out for illegal practices. Okay, these are things that watch out for illegal practices. Make sure your agent's not doing this. This right here says
30.
page 30, someone cannot sell you a Medicare Advantage plan when you say you want to stay in original Medicare and buy a Medigap policy. A Medicare Advantage plan isn't the same as original Medicare. If you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, you'll be disenrolled from original Medicare and can't buy a Medigap policy. Okay, what I want them to hear in that is if you get on a Medicare Advantage, if you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, you'll be disenrolled from original Medicare. Okay, most of these people, if they've talked to anybody that's already on Medicare, famously, if they have a family member that's a nurse or whatever, they've always said, don't stay on original Medicare. Whatever you do, stay on original Medicare. And that's what happens. And I explained to them, see, when you sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan, you still have to pay that Part B premium that comes out of your Social Security.
Yep.
However, that premium no longer goes to Medicare. That premium now goes to whatever MA carrier that you signed up with. If it's UHC, if it's Humana, WellCare, so they become your primary insurance. So now you're restricted to go to where those companies are accepted. And maybe they're accepted at your doctor January through June, and July your doctor no longer accepts it. And you're stuck with changing doctors to go in network or paying out of network costs. Okay. That is generally enough for somebody to say, that's what I want the other one. Okay. So again, I'm not down talking them. I'm just letting them know that the Medicare supplement, man, I apologize. I wish we did have an hour. I could have done this more effectively. If we do another one, it's going to be an hour.
Okay.
If you guys request to see another one with a full presentation, we're going to make it an hour and I'll do it.
We can absolutely do more, an actual Zoom class if you want.
Yeah, on a whole presentation and everything.
Yes.
So anyway, so then, you know, during my presentation, this is the one I want to do. let me explain to you why I have this out. I've got all the quotes, you know, so what I'm going to tell them, the only option I'm going to give them, again, because I don't want to be at the end where they have much to think about. Okay, so the only thing that they might,
So they've decided at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna help them decide right now.
Still
What's running
them?
late? Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm gonna give them the option between a G or an N. I'm gonna explain the two, and what I'm gonna do to get them to decide is, hey, so it looks like I'm looking at my quoting tool. A plan G with company A is X dollars, company B is Y dollars. Out of those two, which sounds best to you? Okay, now this is where I'm going to kind of gauge how much they've been paying attention. You know, and if they say, oh, well, the lower one, you said they're all identical, right? Yeah, perfect. Now, out of the G, where all you have is the $240 annual deductible, or the N, where you might have the copays, which one of those sounds better to you? Oh, the G, I'd rather not to mess with anything. That's all I need right there. And I'm starting to fill out my application. Okay, great. Let me just get some information from you. We'll get a policy out to you. It won't start until your Medicare Part B starts in February, but we'll have everything. You won't have to do anything. You can start throwing all the way the mail. You can quit answering your phone. Don't have to talk to another Medicare agent. And I'm going through my generic application because it's a little bit more lengthy, doing it all while I'm talking to them. Okay, I've got all the information you need. I'm going to plug into ACE's website. Some of these questions I've already asked you. I just need you to confirm them while I'm going through them. And then I'm filling out their website enrollment tool based on what I have on my phone. Now I have you as Charlotte Jones. I have your address 123 Main, your phone number, blah, blah, blah. I have your social as 1234567 look, I'm making this an effective date of February 1 because that's when your Medicare will begin. Now Charlotte, they probably are going to draft you as soon as you're approved, which you're going to be approved because you're in what's called open enrollment. Your first premium is going to be sometimes $25 more if you're in a state that has a policy fee. I've got your date of birth as blah, blah, blah. I don't have to fill out any medications or ask any health questions because again, you're in your open enrollment. They allow me to put unknown in here for your claim number because you haven't received it yet. You'll generally get your Medicare card 30 to 60 days prior to February 1st. Make sure you call me or make sure you call ACE when you get that. They'll need to put it on file. I know your Part A date is going to be February 1, 2025. I know your Part B date is going to be February 1, 2025. So I'll put that in there for you and then continue on with the enrollment. On the wrap up, what I'm going to do is explain to them what's going to happen from this point forward. Okay. And I'm going to continue to make contact with them, for the duration of their life. But I'm going to lay out how everything's going to go. They're going to send you a policy. I'm sorry, what I'm going to say, I'm going to have this policy sent to me. I always have them sent to me personally. And then what I do is I assemble it in a folder and mail it out to the client. So I'm going to say, hey, I should have your policy in 7 to 10 days. When I get it, I'm going to call you and let you know I'm mailing it so that you can keep an eye out for it, not throw it in the trash with all the other junk mail, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then from that point forward, you're set. You don't have to do anything until February. And then when I get their policy, I'm calling them, hey, Charlotte, I got your policy. Like I said, I've got your cards. This gives me a chance to find out if anybody's talked to her, she's heard anything about different plans, if she's skeptical about what's going on here. I can tidy all that up right there. And then I'm going to call her again. Hey, I'll check, by all means, call me with any questions you have. If you see something that is too good to be true, give me a call. But I'll call you again right before February 1st, just so if you've lost your card in that meantime, I can get you a new one, whatever. And then I'm making contact at a minimum every 6 months and at a minimum as AEP starts to make sure that she's with the right plan, not entertaining any other thoughts, and letting her know, hey, if you do see something, another type of Medicare plan, I can do it for you. Okay, so we'll determine what's best for you at that time. So if you see something that looks real enticing, please give me a call. I know all about it already, and we'll decide if it's right for you.
Right. So like the service that you do provide is just letting them know that you haven't forgot about them. They're not just a policy. You're checking on them, making sure they're still healthy.
Yes, for sure.
And I know we're short for time, and I did have a full application in here, so Robert could go through it, but maybe we'll do that on the next one, going through an application. But I do want to let you know, if you do need assistance with getting into carrier portals for e-apps or using CSG or getting supplies, that's what Eldercare is here for. I mean, we have a great agent service team that can call the carrier for you, help you get into the portal, anything that you need to be prepared to write the app. Okay,
Terry asked a real good question on here. So Terry, it says, how do you transition to the PDP compliantly after you have enrolled them in the Med Supp? No, again, this is a turning 65, so they're counting on me. And my scenario was 6 months out. So what I'm going to tell them is, hey, you're also going to need a prescription drug plan. So what I'm going to do is mail you a scope of appointment. If you'll sign and return that to me, I can talk to you about the prescription drug plan when it gets closer to your effective date. So again, there's another service point, Terry, that we'll be hitting on, because we can't enroll them in a PDP until they have their Medicare card. Unlike a supplement where I can enroll them without them knowing their claim number, I cannot do that without their card with a PDP. So I'll make sure I have a scope to them, and because I have a business relationship with them, with their Medicare supplement, I don't need a permission to contact to do the PDP later. But I will obtain the scope in one of my service calls, probably put it in with the policy when I send it out and say, hey, there's one form in there you're going to need to return to me. And I say that because generally, Terry, I do voice scopes with people, so it's a little bit easier. But again, that's one piece of this puzzle that you can't do until they get their Medicare card.
Right. So that's a great point too. I mean, if you've worked with lead vendors, you'll know the more successful marketing pieces are those that are turning 65, 9 to 10 months out.
Correct.
So that's a little marketing tidbit there. So you are helping them get that Medicare supplement way ahead of time. And then that leaves time for you to do the Part D part compliantly.
Correct. Yeah. And Terry, yes, I would mention and explain what excess charges are. when doing that a plan N does not cover and a plan G does, but I will also explain that excess charges only come in to play less than 1% of the time. So it's somewhat irrelevant, but I will touch on that. You know, I feel obligated. I have to explain to them that excess charges are not covered on plan N.
Right. Okay, so then you've secured the application. How do you end your phone call
Hey,
or appointment, whatever it is?
100%. It's going to be. I can't stress enough. I mean, they're going to be happy with me. Most of them say, "Man, this is I've learned so much with you. Better than if you explain something better than anybody else." They're really going to find even the minimal information that I gave them. They're going to find that very valuable. So just to solidify it, hey, like I said, anything you need, you call me. If and these are real life situations. These are not, hey, if this happens, it's probably going to happen.
Right.
I'm going to say, hey, if your
The odds are
neighbor
high.
comes over here and starts complaining, especially with the carriers now, when you're talking about Humana has a Med Supp, which is a low rate, so you should be writing a lot of it. They've got a great app bonus right now, but they also offer a Medicare Advantage plan. You have Aetna that offers a supplement and an Advantage plan. You have Blue Cross supplement and Advantage plan, UHC supplement and Advantage plan. If I'm putting them in one of these companies that is also historically a major Medicare Advantage carrier,
Right.
they're going to talk to their neighbor who's complaining about their Humana and think they have a bad plan.
Right.
So I'm going to explain, just solidify, hey, if this company I put you with, they also offer Advantage plans. Anytime I hear any complaints or anything, and again, now I'm solidifying, hey, you've made the right decision on a Medicare supplement.
Right.
When you hear people complaining about their Humana, it's not the type of plan you have. When you see at your doctor's office that they're no longer accepting Aetna, that's not the type of plan you have. The type of plan you have is a Medicare supplement, Medigap, accepted wherever they accept Medicare. So disregard any of that. Just some of these major companies, they offer both. And again, I'm implanting in their head, oh, people have complaints on Advantage plans. Oh, sometimes doctors don't accept Medicare Advantage plans. And just constantly explaining that you're better off with a supplement than you are an Advantage plan. And look, I've been doing this since, again, 2012, and I have never had somebody come from an Advantage plan to a supplement and say, I want back on that Advantage plan. All of them that get switched off of a supplement to an Advantage plan generally want to go back to a supplement. I mean,
most likely the reason why there's a trial, right?
Yeah, and it's so bad. I mean, when I call my clients, yeah, Robert, this guy said I could get the same insurance for free, $0 a month. But man, my doctor doesn't take it. It costs me $75 for this, blah, 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 blah. And now they can't get it. Now they can't pass the underwriting. They're outside of their 1 year trial right. And I'll explain real life situations like that just so they know when they pop up, call me. I will get it sorted out with you. I can do those plans. Michael, yeah, a lot of people do mail 10-month out. I don't like it in my position because again, I've got 50, 60 agents that are not really good at clerical skills. So a 10-month out mailer will absolutely get you the highest percentage of a mail return on those things. But you can't do anything in between the 10th month and the 6 months other than touch base with them and try and build a relationship enough that they'll sign up with you at the 6-month mark.
Right.
And if you feel like you've done that with 10 people, 4 of them will have already signed up with somebody else by the time you talk to them. I mean, that's just the statistics. So I like to take my chances, get a little bit less of a return, but get them mail them at the 6-month mark, just because I know when I talk to them the first time, I can write them the first time.
Right.
And then again, if they do end up being an MA, my window of having to keep contact with them to make sure I can secure the MA application is only a 3-month window. So yeah, but yeah, the lead vendors will preach that, send not Humana supplement you used to could write 12 months out, believe it or not. So
yeah,
it was kind of beneficial if that was what you were targeting. But 6 months is where the kind of the sweet spot that I like to send out mail.
Yeah, because you can actually secure an application at that time.
Lock up premiums.
we do have a few more questions that we will get answered, but for those of you, I see some of you jumping off. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. If you need more training on selling Medicare supplements, please reach out to us. We have a whole team here that are just a phone call away to help you. And then we do have our conference coming up. I have to put the plug in for that. If you want to see Robert in person and come to one of his breakout sessions, you can come to our conference in September. If you want to come, just put it in the comments and I'll send you the link. But for those of you who do have questions, Blanca had asked, do premiums for Medicare supplements begin upon approval or until Medicare effective date?
They don't begin until their effective date. However, carriers will allow you to get the first premium payment upon approval, which I highly recommend because they're more likely to stay with you if they've already made a payment during that 6-month window. Okay, so if I tell that, if I make an application
on the application,
yes, and I say, hey, your payment does, your first payment's going to come out February 1st, they're going to get marketed by hundreds of people that might be better than me in that 6-month period. And if she hasn't made a payment, all she done is given me personal information, she could possibly change. Okay. However, if I secure that payment when I write it right now and tell her, hey, they're gonna bill you your first month's premium this week. However, you're not going to have another payment until March 3rd. She's more likely to stay with me because she's going to think, well, I've already paid for the one, I've already made my first payment on the one Robert signed up with me. So, but yeah, you do have the option. You can bill on a approval or issue date, or you can bill their first one on the effective date.
Very good. Great question. I didn't even know that was an option. Jack had asked about if we know the 2025 deductible yet.
I don't know.
I don't think that they have released that officially yet.
Usually October, November.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen it
and then
September. But...
yes, Jack, page 30 of the choosing a Medigap, not the handbook. It was page 30 of the choosing a Medigap book that talks about the Medicare Advantage. If they switched to it, what would happen to their original Medicare? Great. I hope you all took really great notes of what Robert shared with you.
30 minutes is a short time.
30 minutes is a short time. But we definitely appreciate all of you staying on, and we will definitely have you back. And then maybe we'll do a more one-on-one Zoom for those who do need more training, because we want you to be successful selling Medicare supplements and helping those navigate the ways of Medicare, because it is confusing. Obviously, it's a lot of information, but if you do need more training, you have to communicate with us. Let us know what you need from us, and we're happy to help any way we can.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.